Hey everybody, welcome to the first annual Peg Clearing Brawl. We picked 5 Hot Wheels castings that were collecting dust in stores, and we spent the winter clearing them out to make room for the 2021 models. Builders from around the world were asked to pick one of the 5 castings and paint it a neon color and throw 80 grams of weight in the thing. We'll race them in groups of either 2 or 3 in the first 2 rounds, and then rounds 3 and 4 will be head-to-head racing. When we race groups of 3, each car will get a run in each lane. With groups of 2, the cars will alternate. First car to 2 wins advances. We split the 28 cars entered into 2 brackets. This is the West bracket. Tooth Fairy, Bay City Daryl, Fractal Panda, Daddy G, Lindsay Lee, Big Mac, Kit Cam, Grey Wizard, Dev, Dirty Murray, Maker's Box, Big C, Griffin Cross, Ragtag, and Dax Quaid will all face each other in the West bracket. Winner faces the East bracket winner. And we'll kick it off with Tooth Fairy in the green and white, Bay City Daryl in all orange, and Fractal Panda in the pink and black. There they are down the all-new Long Shadow Dragstrip. And Tooth Fairy takes the first one by slamming everybody else into the wall. And this is just the fun of open track racing here. Tooth Fairy comes over, a little bump is all it took to get him out in front and steal the win. So Tooth Fairy's got 1, and that means if he wins here, he will take the group, but we will still alternate to all 3 lanes. They're gone, and Bay City Daryl sneaks in to slide along from that close lane. We'll call it the inside lane. So we're going into race number 3 here, swapping them all around, and now they're in completely alternate lanes from where they started. Tooth Fairy out front again, but he spins! And Fractal Panda gets there, so our first race of the day, and our very first race here at the Long Shadow Dragstrip, is each racer leaves with 1 race. So we have a true sudden death here coming up with 3 wide racing. What a way to kick off the 2021 Peg Clearing Brawl. Next car to win will advance. And here they go. Big City Daryl way out front, and he is gonna take it. He was out front from the get-go, coming out of that center lane. So Daryl will advance. Our next race in the West bracket will be Daddy G, Lindsay Lee, and Big Mac. He's going to be closest to your screen. There they go. Daddy G. Wow, that is domination right there as Daddy G just blows the doors off everybody. No need for a replay on that one. We're going to go into race 2. Daddy G moves to the center, and he's got the only win so far in this group. They're off, and Daddy G again commanding lead there, takes the win. So this next race will actually just be for formalities since Daddy G won 2 in a row there. We're going to see if anybody else can take him out. There they are, and again, Daddy G floors it all the way to the finish. He'll take all 3 to advance to the next round. And now we'll have Kit Cam in pink, Grey Wizard in the middle, in the black and green, and Dev on the inside in the light green. There they are. Cam cruising down the lane, and he will get the first win of group number 3. And it looks like we had a stalled out car there in Dev. So we'll swap sides around. Kit Cam to the middle, up by 1. There they are. Cam with a late jump out of the block, and Grey Wizard blocked him. We're going to have to go to a replay here. It looked like Grey Wizard may have snuck by Kit Cam. Now you can see Dev falling behind again. And Cam went for the pass. Grey Wizard blocked. He turns to the outside, and it is Grey Wizard taking the win there by a nose. Kit Cam with a beautiful move to the outside. Just wasn't enough. And Grey Wizard gets the win. So Grey Wizard has 1, Kit Cam has 1 as we go into our 3rd race here. up for grabs. Who will advance? There they go. Grey Wizard and Kit out to a huge... Oh, boy. Insult to injury as Kit KM takes the win. Grey Wizard just blasts him. And Dev looks like he slid along the wall a little too far. So, race number 4, Dirty Murray, Maker's Box, and Big C. We got a couple hot pink cars in this one. There they are. And Maker's Box, smooth to the finish with a beautiful block there on Dirty Murray. So, race number 2 with these guys. Swapping lanes, Dirty Murray moves to the inside, Maker's Box to the outside, up by 1. And Dirty Murray with a little... Well, Maker's Box tried to do a crossover move there, but Murray just kept his line. Watch this, Maker's Box goes all the way across to the other side of the track. Dirty Murray holds his line strong and just blazes on to a finish. So going into the 3rd race in this group, Murray and Maker's Box both have 1 with Big C sitting in the middle. There they go. Oh, and they crash! Dirty Murray takes the win! Look at that! All right, we got to go to a replay here to see this one. Look at... Just takes him out. Maker's Box takes out Big C, but somehow Big C was able to squeeze through because he does get to the finish line. But Dirty Murray will advance. And this race is going quick. We're already in our last group of the West bracket. We're going to have Griffin Cross, Ragtag, and Dax Quaid running off on this one. Here we go. Dax Quaid, huge lead there, takes the win from that inside lane. And it looks like back there is going to be Ragtag. So we'll swap lanes up. Ragtag comes to the inside where Dax just was. Dax Quaid up by 1 here. There they go, and Quaid's going to put him away. That's 2 wins for Dax Quaid, and he will advance. This last race is going to be just for formalities here, as Quaid goes to the middle, and we swap him out again. So, Dax Quaid moving on, but for formalities, and he puts a nail in that. Exclamation point on the win. Dax Quaid moving on to the next round. So before moving on to our East bracket round 1, we'll take a look at round 1 in the West bracket. Advancing here we have Bay City Daryl, Daddy G, Kit KM, Dirty Murray, and Dax Quaid. And you see how it's organized with 2 up top, 3 on the bottom because of an odd number of racers. So now let's take a look at what our East bracket will bring. We'll have Uncle Elvis, Sweet Tea, Triple B, John Tran, Doc, Reg Dog, Rhonda Vicious, Sneaky Bob, Dangerous Dawn, Jim D, Marcus, Firegon, Dribbly Bob, and Princess Wet Wipe rounding out the East bracket. So we got some more neon racing for you coming up as we chase that neon rainbow. Our first group of the West bracket will be Uncle Elvis, Sweet Tea, and Triple B in the Tiger Stripes. And here they go. Uncle Elvis sneaks out in front as Triple B gets into it there with Sweet Tea. That was some dangerous driving. So race number 2 here. Triple B moving to the outside lane. Uncle Elvis to the inside, and Uncle Elvis out front again. But Sweet Tea right on his tail. That is going to be a photo finish here, folks. It looks like Triple B got a little sloppy coming off the line and hitting the wall. But look at this. Uncle Elvis and Sweet Tea, a straight runoff. And Uncle Elvis wins. Man, I'll tell you, you give Sweet Tea another foot of track, and I think she could have pulled that one off because that was a very close race, and she was definitely catching up to him. So Uncle Elvis takes 2 wins. He will advance this next race just for formalities. Who's it gonna be? Oh, and Triple B takes out Uncle Elvis there and takes the win. But too little, too late. Uncle Elvis will be advancing. Our second group of the East bracket will feature John Tran, Doc, and Rajdog. We got some pink action going on over here. The little orange in the middle. Here we go. John Tran bumps into Rajdog and takes the win. So we'll go to race number 2. Tran moving to the middle lane, and he's up by 1 over the 2 Alpines. And he's going to take that one too. Similar situation there where Rajdog was vying for a win, and Tran just bumped him out of the way. So Tran's moving to the outside, and this is a victory lap for John Tran if he can make it. And he does. Tran moving on to the next round. Group 3 is going to have Rhonda Vicious in that 90s looking Pacifica, Sneaky Bob in the pink, and Dangerous Dawn in green. Rhonda Vicious blocks everybody, but they get through! And Sneaky Bob sneaks in for the win! Now that was an interesting race. Look at this. Rhonda Vicious goes sideways, blocks the entire track, and somehow Sneaky Bob is able to sneak around the outside. So we'll go to race number 2 after that exciting start to this group. This is going to be a fun group here. And there they go. Rhonda Vicious not getting a good start there. And Dawn out to the lead! But Sneaky Bob got around her. I do not know who won. That was a very close race. Dawn held the line. Sneaky Bob crossed around behind her here. So Dawn after the pass, we're going to have to freeze it here and see. It looked like Rhonda Vicious actually tapped Dawn just enough to get her over the line. And Dangerous Dawn wins. So we got a tie here between Sneaky Bob and Dangerous Dawn. Tiebreaker coming right here. Who will advance? Rhonda Vicious getting another great jump, but Sneaky Bob avoids a falling stick to take the win. He will move on. Now, because of the number of cars entered, this will be our first 2-car group. That's Jim D and Marcus Fargon. Jim D in the yellow, Fargon in the orange. They get into it there, and Jim D takes the win. So first one to get to 2 will advance. Look at this, how this works with 2-wide racing. It's kind of even crazier. Jim D even hits a falling stick there. We're outside, guys, and as you can see, there's sticks all over the place. That's what it is, outside open track racing. So we swap sides here. Hopefully our maintenance crew was able to clean up the track a little bit there. And wow! Blowing the doors off him there. That's Marcus Fargon. So we go into race 3. This is a true sudden death race, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Jim D with a better jump, crosses in front, hits another stick. There's so many sticks out there. I don't know what's going on, but Jim D takes the win and he will advance. That'll bring us to our second 2-car group of round 1. That's Dribbly Bob and Princess Wet Wipe. They're off. These are 2 very bright cars looking good in the sun, and Bob does a little crossover there as Princess Wet Wipe gets buried into the side. So we'll swap sides here with these 2. Bob up by 1. Can Princess Wet Wipe take them? Doesn't look like it. They both held their lines. Looked like Princess Wet Wipe was slowing down. Bob moving on. But before we move on, we're going to take another look at that very exciting East bracket. That was some crazy racing we had there. We'll have moving on Uncle Elvis, John Tran, Sneaky Bob, Jim D, and Dribbly Bob. Looks like Jim's going to be sandwiched between a couple Bobs there in that 3-car runoff with Uncle Elvis and John Tran all by themselves up at the top of the bracket. So let's see what we're going to get out of our West bracket in round number 2. Just a recap, we're going to have Bay City Daryl racing against Daddy G. And then the 3-wide racing with Kit Cam, Dirty Murray, and Dax Quaid. This is the best of the West bracket, so we'll see what they have to offer. Our first race here will again be Bay City Daryl and Daddy G. Daryl came out of group number 1 and Daddy G came out of group number 2. Here they go. And it's going to be Daddy G taking the first race. Now remember, folks, when there's only 2 cars, it is just straight up best out of 3 alternating lane racing. There they go again. Daddy G is gonna get, oh, did he get that one? I don't know if he took that first one or the second race here. A little bounce off the wall, so he's definitely slowing down. We're gonna need a photo finish here. And it was Daddy G who took the second race, so he will be moving on. Bay City Daryl is eliminated. And now we'll have 3 wide racing with Kit Cam, Dirty Murray, and Dax Quaid coming out of groups 3, 4, and 5 respectively. Kit Cam falling behind there, but boom! Wow, what a little wreck we had there. And Kit Cam takes advantage, sneaks through for the win. What happened back there? There's a pile up in this second round. So we got Murray and Quaid get into it and just bounce off the side, leaving it wide open for Kit Cam to plow through for an easy victory. So we'll go into our second race here of this group. Swapping sides, Kit Cam in the middle. He's up by 1. Can he get the second win necessary to move on? And he is just out there. It is a foot race to the finish line. So just as a formality, we'll be running that third race, although Kit Cam is moving on after punching his ticket with those first 2 wins. So here we go. And it's another foot race with Cam taking the win. Quaid sliding in behind him, followed up by Dirty Murray. So that'll bring us to our West Bracket Championship between Daddy G and Kit Cam. Daddy G out of Group 2, and Kit Cam was coming out of Group 3. So here we go with our West Bracket Championship. Daddy G pounds Kit Cam into the wall, does a little 360 spin move and takes the win. Check this out. Daddy G comes all the way across, puts Kit Cam into the wall, 360 spin, straightens it back out, off the other wall, and across the line for the win. That was some crazy driving out of Daddy G. So he gets the first victory. We'll see if Kit Cam's got an answer for him. Here they go. Cam with a good jump, but Daddy G smokes him out front, but I don't know who won that. It looked like Cam was coming back. He had the inside lane there, and he tried to push Daddy G out of the way here. We're going to see a little photo finish. It is Daddy G was able to get back just in time. So Daddy G will be going to the Peg Clearing Brawl Championship. Both sides of this bracket have had some wild racing, but man, Daddy G was putting on a show there with some fireworks in the West Bracket Championship, and he will be moving on to the overall championship. We're going to switch over to the East Bracket now to see who will be going to the championship along with Daddy G. Just a little recap for the East Bracket here. We have Uncle Elvis going up against John Tran, and then our 3-wide race of round 2 will be Jim D sandwiched in between a couple of Bobs, Sneaky and Dribbly. Take your pick on what kind of Bob you want and pick your favorite out of Group 2 here in the East Bracket. If you remember back the first round, the East Bracket had some very tight racing. We're going to kick it off with Uncle Elvis and John Tran. Elvis in gold, Tran in pink. And that is a foot race down to the finish line, but Uncle Elvis takes the win. So we'll swap sides here. 2-wide racing. Gets exciting here. Couple of thoroughbreds, another foot race to the finish line, and Tran gave a little hip check to Elvis to win the second one, so no need for replays here, folks. This is some serious head-to-head long-distance racing here at Long Shadow Dragstrip and the Peg Clearing Brawl. Another one! Who won that? That was a true sudden death to see who moves on to the semifinals. Elvis comes sweeping across the lane to block Tran, and he does take the win, crossing the finish line first. Uncle Elvis will move on. John Tran is eliminated from the Peg Clearing Brawl. And as promised, some more 3-wide racing with Jim D sandwiched in between Sneaky Bob and Dribbly Bob. Sneaky in pink, Dribbly in orange. I don't know what significance that has, but here we go. Sneaky Bob just blowing him away, taking the win easily. So Sneaky Bob moves to the inside. If he takes this, he will move on. Anyone else will force a third race. Side by side. Oh, and Sneaky Bob gets spun as Dribbly Bob takes the win. We got to go back and see that one again. It was Bob on Bob action here in round 2. There we go, and spins him. Look at that. Dribbly Bob putting some muscle in that hustle to get that hard-fought win in race number 2. So that'll bring us to race number 3. This is a full rotation. If one of the Bobs takes the win, that's that. But if Jim D can pull one out, we will go into a 4th race here in this group. There we are, the Bob's out front again, and Jim D rolls around him to take the win. That was another bump and grind win there. This is crazy, man. It is anybody's game here in the peg clearing brawl. Jim D just saw an opportunity as the Bobs got into it again, and he takes off for the finish line to get that win. So we're going into race number 4 here in this group, and it is a true sudden death race. Bob, and Jim going head to head. Winner will advance in the peg clearing brawl tournament. Jim D was out front early, but it is Sneaky Bob. So that sets up a pretty epic East Bracket championship here between Uncle Elvis and Sneaky Bob. Both of these drivers won out of their brackets, and now they have an opportunity to take on the West champion, Daddy G, in the peg clearing brawl championship. They're off, and Uncle Elvis just holds his line as Sneaky Bob tried to do his signature takeout move, but Elvis was not having that. Look, Sneaky Bob come all the way across and try to tag him, but he tags himself. Uncle Elvis holds his line and gets the win, and I think here at the Long Shadow Dragstrip, that's kind of what you gotta do. Race number 2 here. If Elvis can take it, he will go to the championship. There we go. Sneaky Bob out front. They're bumping and grinding. I don't know who won that. Did Elvis get his win to move to the championship, or did Bob tie him up to force sudden death? Elvis bumps Bob into the wall, and he slows down just enough. And Uncle Elvis is going on to the championship here at the Peg Clearing Brawl 2021. It has been a crazy peg clearing brawl race here. Big time brawling, as we've had a lot of smash and grind racing coming down the Long Shadow Dragstrip here today. Daddy G winning out in the West, topping some very competitive racers. There's a lot of big names in this race today coming out of both the West and the East bracket as we take a look at the East here, where Uncle Elvis in the gold and I want to say hot red. It's not exactly pink. It's kind of hot red is his neon choice. Uncle Elvis grinding his way through that East bracket to set up the finals here, going up against Daddy G. Thank you to all the drivers who sent in cars, who built these amazing cars and sent them in well before this race. We're finally getting it out to you. And man, it was well worth the wait. This is some amazing racing we've had today. And here they are, folks. Your champions coming out of the East bracket, it's Uncle Elvis. And out of the West bracket, it's Daddy G. This could be either one's race. And this should be some very good racing coming up here in the Peg Clearing Brawl 2021 Championship. Elvis on the left and Daddy G on the right. Here they go. Daddy G out early, blocks Elvis. Elvis comes around the other way. We got to go to the replay here to see who won that. You see Daddy G out early, but Uncle Elvis catching up quickly. He swaps over to the outside lane, and Daddy G takes the first one in this championship race. So Daddy G up by 1 going into race 2. If he can take it here, he will be the champion. Uncle Elvis takes it. We will force a true sudden death race here in the championship. There they go. Daddy G falling behind, slipping, and it looks like Uncle Elvis went sideways across the line to block Daddy G and take the win But we got to go to the replay. I don't know if Daddy G snuck in there. Daddy G jumped off that starting line. He was airborne. Elvis comes across, tags Daddy G into the wall, and slides sideways. That's all he could do to get that win out of him. Man, that was some really aggressive racing there from Uncle Elvis. But hey, man, it's a Peg Clearing Brawl Championship, and we have a true sudden death race. That's something we love here at Rust Belt Diecast Racing. Sudden death racing is where it's at. One and done. This is for all the marbles for the championship of the Peg Clearing Brawl. Here we go. Neck and neck coming out of the gate, but Daddy G takes the win after crossing across the lane. Let's go to the replay here, folks. Daddy G had it the whole way, doing that signature jump off the orange track. He's grinding along the wall, and he goes across the lane to get the victory. Well, folks, this was some of the craziest racing I've ever seen, and what a great debut for our new track, the Long Shadow Dragstrip. We'll definitely have more races on this track. And there's your champion of the Peg Clearing Brawl 2021. It's Daddy G. Congratulations to Daddy G and to all the racers who submitted cars. Thank you so much, everybody who sent cars in for this race. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time right here at Rust Belt Diecast Racing.